You're listening to the Farmyard Podcast. This podcast is brought to you by Farmyard. It's a movement, have you heard? And our Patreon supporters. Episode 44, The Magic Ingredient. Love, Music, and Laughter. With host Linda Borghi.
Well, hello there. Linda Borghi here from Farmyard. You are just one seed away. You know, we have delivered and created 30 days of content for you in our Grow It, Don't Mow It campaign over the last 30 days. And wow, it's been a real wild ride. During that time period, I've given many talks. I was at Homestead Gardens in Maryland. Now, at all these locations, my talk is Grow It, Don't Mow It. And it's a much simplified version. I mean, how much can I teach people in 45 minutes or an hour, right? But thank God for the 40 plus podcasts we have on iTunes. So it's all there. The information is there, and the campaign itself. So I was at Homestead Gardens. Then I was on the 39th Street Pier, New York City, where I was giving out gifts for Earth Day. Planted garlic for green garlic, you know. And on the television screens, all of them on all the ferries and in all the terminals, that pot of green garlic went up, letting people know that Farmyard was there, giving them a gift with the card, with a wildflower seed taped to it. You are just one seed away, and we give you the seed. So from the 39th Street Ferry, I was at the Northern Valley Regional High School in Demorest, New Jersey. And then this past Thursday, which I'm recording this the end of April, the very last day of April, this past Thursday, I taught 3 high school classes, one in Alaska, one in LA, and one in Hawaii. They were all on one screen at the National Institute of Health. It's been so exciting connecting with yard farmers. My housemate down in Silver Spring, Walter, he started a yard farm on the 450 square foot grassy meridian that nobody does anything with. It's between the sidewalk and the street. Well, now he's going to have peppers, tomatoes, and sugar snap peas pretty soon. So it's really been wonderful. Really wonderful giving you this information. I know I speak for not just myself, for my team. My God, Chris Etterman. Oh, the work that woman does. She is really, really incredible. Marcia Howe. You know, these are people, the 3 of us, are so driven by passion to make sure you have what you need to go forward in turning that grass into food, because we need to do this. We need to do this. So the podcast today is entitled Love, Music, and Laughter. The Magic Ingredients. I really want to talk about this because my family members, when they listen to this, especially my children, they'll know that this is in fact the truth and the case. With me, anyway. My yard farming career has always been very filled with joy. I have to tell you, there hasn't been really very few minutes that I would wake up and say, oh, I got to go do that again. I actually would wake up before time, waiting for the daybreak. And then I found out they had these LED lights you could put on your hat. So I could at least go out there and weed a little and be in that energy field during that hour. My hours are kind of very different than most. I get up at 4:00 every morning like a jackrabbit. Really, like the Energizer Bunny. I just can hardly wait to do what I do, and that includes today, right? So what brought all that joy to me? How did that all arrive? Well, I love working jointly with the earth. I love learning everything about her, the earth beneath my feet. I really feel her as my mother. Even when I'm driving on a road, I know she's under there, you know? I love what I do. I've loved this my whole life. I've loved being responsible, feeling responsible anyway, for generations to come, to make sure that food as we know it today is in fact recognizable, right? So it's something that I love. And when you're doing what you love, and everyone has a right to that. Everyone has a right to do what they love and to benefit from it greatly. But when you're out there and you are growing food, and then that food feeds you, something happens. Something happens. I can't tell you what it is, but I can explain it because I've seen it hundreds of times. Even right here, I'm in my daughter's home, my daughter and son-in-law's home. These are two professionals. My daughter, by the way, never wanted to get her hands dirty. That wasn't her thing. It happened to be something for my son, but not for her. I didn't push either of them in either direction. I knew if they both did what they loved, right, that they'd be in good shape for the shape they'd be in. So here in this house, a year ago, my son-in-law came into the kitchen holding a bunch of organic kale, and he loves kale. This is a household that eats a lot of kale. And he said to my daughter, "We can grow this." So when it gets in the consciousness of that type of individual, I'm using this as just as an example for the masses. And then they go ahead and do that. And of course, I did that for them. And then at the end of the season, for my daughter to say, Ma, I think we're going to make it a little bit bigger next year. They enjoyed it. They really loved it. They loved it. It loved them. It's a perfectly balanced relationship. My granddaughter told me that her and her friend Robbie loved to sit on this little cement pad by the garden, by their yard farm, to sketch the zinnias. And they're 7. So you love it, it loves you. Now music is the second topic. I have to tell you, I have been known for my music. I could listen pretty much to the same song all day long. And every time it played, it would be as if it was playing for the first time. My children and former husband can vouch for that. I really felt bad for them because I suppose that it would drive most people kooky nuts. But not me. It just brought up emotions. I love music. I always had speakers outside blasting, mostly opera. Bocelli and the Three Tenors. Music lifts me. Music changes the energy. It's a frequency. It's a vibration. And when we all boil things down to the simple syrup, my grandmother saying, the simple syrup, everything is energy. Everything is frequency. So it's just a matter of plugging into those waves. And that's what they are. And I love riding them on a surfboard. That's one set of waves that I definitely can maneuver. So music, I mean, in the mornings, the music is the bird song. The bird song. And then the daybreak comes, and then the music turns into the gnats and so much happening at daybreak. It's very interesting. I've taken some films, my videos, whatever, and it's really very difficult. In the picture, in the video, everything looks so calm and serene, when actually it's Action Jackson time. Everything is happening. Everybody's up, making their cups of coffee, whatever. The ants are moving, the gnats are forming vortexes, and then they go out and they fly every which way but loose, and then they come back and they do it in the opposite directions. Bats fly that way too. Vortexes. We told you all about that last week. In water, activated water, frequencies, yeah, music. Please plug yourself into some of those and make it be music that lifts you to the highest point, higher than the Himalayas. Okay. As my granddaughter would say, KK. And laughter. We need to laugh. We need to laugh. We need to be happy. We need to accept laughter. We need to, I say this because 3 years ago, when I left Walker Valley on a journey alone, because that's what I did. I just left on my Grow Food Earn Money tour. Get a load of that one. I was just like Elton John, my friend. When I left on that travel, I had to make a decision. And I made a very clear decision, and I announced it as if I was standing on the stage of Madison Square Garden. But in reality, I was in my 600 square foot cottage. Just before I left, I made this announcement. From this moment forward, everything in my life is going to be a comedy. Nothing is going to be a tragedy. And I know that I was so strong in that statement, in that intention, that I planted that seed so quickly that I am going to get on the comedy stage. I swear to God, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go on for a comedy open mic, because if we look at things through a different set of eyes, that's really what it takes. If we look at things through a set of eyes filled with fear, then we will get more things to be afraid of. If we look at things through a set of eyes that it really cracks you up, and I have a very weak bladder, my friends. My son was 10 pounds, 4.5 ounces, and 28 inches long. I am 5 feet, 1.5 inches. That was a big whoop-a-doozer. I have a really weak bladder. So you get me laughing and forget about it, baby. Oh my goodness gracious. But laughter. We need to laugh at ourselves first. We really do. Because if we laugh at ourselves, right, then we become human. Sometimes I think we believe we're so superhuman, but we don't want to be a supersized. We just want to be a regular human, a human that's filled with joy and laughter, compassion, sympathy, empathy, all of these things. That's the Boston cream pie. With the real cream on the top from a nice Jersey cow, like I had on Block Island. Gosh, that cream was yellow. So that's it, my friends. I really hope you benefited greatly from the work we put in the last 30 days. All of our content is free to you. Yes, that is correct. We are in this for the outcome. But I have to tell you, we need some income. Being the oldest in a family of famous fine arts dealers, and always listening to PBS, become a patron of the arts. Yes, become a patron of the arts. Well, my friends, yard farming is and has been my chosen art form, and I am the matriarch of this family. And I am asking you for your financial support. I am. I'm asking you to go to our Patreon page right now and click that support button and throw some money in that jar so that we can continue this work. We do need income, and I know that it's right around the corner. Thank you so much for listening. I want to thank our current Patreon supporters. Yes, indeedy, I do. What would we do without you? I'm just not sure. Well, I will, in fact, catch you all on the flip side. And until then, go farm that yard.
This podcast is community supported. We thank everyone for tuning in, and a special thank you goes out to all our Patreon supporters. If you enjoy our content, please subscribe and share. You can help support us through Farm a Yard, all one word, on patreon.com.